When we reviewed the Pecron E3600, we said it might just be the best bang for your buck power station on the market. And at the time, I don't even think we understood how much of an understatement that really was. Specifically, when you get the bundle with 2 of these power stations, as well as the 240 volt box, you get more power than an F3800, as much battery capacity as a Delta Pro Ultra, and the whole bundle is cheaper than a single original Delta Pro from 2021. And even though we always recommend products from EcoFlow, Anker, and other brands, and we kind of say Pecron is more of like the budget option, this E3600 bundle kit might just be the best way to spend your money on portable power in 2025. So welcome back to the lab where our opinions cannot be bought. We have made our fair share of comments about Pecron units in the past. To be honest, I never thought I would be here saying that probably the best way to spend your money this year is on a Pecron unit, but they've always performed pretty well for us. They're a great value. The thing is, they've just never really blown us away. And I think because of that, we've never really given them the credit that they deserve. And so today, that's what we're here to do. If the E3600 is new to you and you want a review video on just one specific unit, we will link to that video that we have already made in the description down below. Otherwise, let's get you up to speed on the 2 units plus the 240 volt kind of bundle before we jump into why we actually kind of like it so much. Before we get started with this, we're gonna compare these 2 units and the bundle to a lot of other power stations just to kind of show you guys how we ended up here with this opinion, because on its own, it might sound okay, but when you compare it to the price and what you're getting for all these other power stations, that's when you start to realize that like this is a really good deal. So starting off right now, this bundle is on a pretty permanent sale price on their website, $2,753 with our discount code for the 2 units plus the hub. That's cheaper than basically all of the competition. With the 2 units combined, you get a total of 6,144 watt hours of battery, and you can expand that up to 30.8 kilowatt hours with expansion battery. And for these units, each expansion battery is 3 kilowatt hours and only $900-ish, which is honestly a really good price. In terms of output, the 2 units combined get you a total of 7,200 watts of output, and you have access to 120 or 240 volts. You get a total of 4,800 watts of solar input, and each unit individually can charge at 3,200 watts with a 30 amp plug that they provide for AC charging, or 1,800 watts with a regular like 120 volt house plug cable that they also provide. When it comes to the functionality of these 2 together, we made sure that we obviously tested the functionality of it, and it does in fact run 7,200 watts, no problem. You basically get 3,600 watts out of both unit. So if you have this plugged into a transfer switch, you just have to make sure your loads are balanced, because like any portable power station or anything that you run into a transfer switch, if your actual loads are imbalanced, you're gonna end up having maybe 2,000 watts come out of one unit and only 1,000 come out of the other unit. That's not a problem because of the units, that's a problem because of how your stuff is set up. When it comes to surging, we went ahead and surged one of these units while they were already both running 3,600 watts. We surged one up to 4,200 watts and it lasted about a minute, which is pretty cool. Gives you a lot of time to get your stuff figured out, see what's going on. The screen changes color on the unit that's surging, so if you understand what you're looking at, you can easily trace back what's going on. And when it came to doing an actual surge load with both units, we tried to start the big compressor we have in the garage, and I'll say it tried harder than any other power station that we have. It takes over 10,000 watts to get this thing going. It's a massive surge. Even some of our bigger inverters struggle to do it sometimes. But this thing put in a little bit more work than all the other units. The F3800 couldn't do it. Delta Pro 3 couldn't do it. Delta Pro Ultra couldn't do it. And the High Solus doesn't even have the ability to do 240 unless you invest enough to put a small down payment on your first house. When it comes to things that we like about the combo with these 2 units, the 240 volt hub is super easy to set up and use. It basically just plugs into the 30 amp plugs on the front of the unit. It's actually got some pretty long wires too, so you can nicely route the hub out of the way, mount it to a wall or whatever you want, and have a pretty tidy setup. And we also like that while having 2 units could be a pain in the ass, it does make them a lot easier to move around. So you can easily just pick up 1 unit at a time and move it around the house, whereas something like the F3800, you're not going to be able to get that thing up a set of stairs unless you have help. We also really like that they have the 30 amp plugs on the units. So aside from obviously using that to run the 240 volt hub, it does add a ton of of functionality to each individual device. If you wanted to put this inside of your camper or whatever, you can just take one unit, put it in your camper, run all your loads. And this unit also comes with a 30 amp charging cord, and it's one of, if not the only unit right now that you can pass the 30 amps through. So if you had this in your camper and you had everything running off this 30 amp plug, and you notice it's starting to get low, you could use a generator or shore power or whatever with the provided 30 amp charging cable, plug it in, charge this thing up super quick while continuing to pass power through this to your camper, which is great. And kind of to finish out this jumble of what feels like they're all kind of the same point, you can take what you need where you need. So when you have 2 units with the 240 volt hub, you have it in your garage and it's as emergency backup for your house or whatever you're doing with it. You have a full capable big system, but you also have access to 2 individual very capable units. You could take these tailgating, you could take this in your camper, you could share this power with your neighbor, just give them a whole power station if you needed to, which is pretty cool. If you have one big unit, you're limited to doing one thing with that unit. In this case, you have 2 units, you can easily split your power up. And something cool that Pecron recently started doing was offering free shipping within the United States, which is great because heavy things like this cost a lot to ship. It's not socks and underwear. Already almost free. It's gonna save you a ton of money if you don't have to pay for shipping as well. There is some things that we don't like about having this dual bundle setup though, and the first one is that it is messier than having a single system. The Delta Pro Ultra is a lot cleaner. There's very minimal stuff going on. Having 2 of these, you have to have the 240 volt hub. It has 2 big wires running into it. You have your communication cable running between the 2 units. You also have to have 2 AC charging ports or 2 solar arrays. Like your one big solar array has to be divided into 2 different units. There's just a lot more cables and mess that go into having 2 units as opposed to 1. Something else that I think would be cool to see is if we could use the hub to charge the units. That would be cool. Right now you have to charge each unit individually, but then you'd have to be able to charge it through the output. Like, I get why, but it'd just be cool if you could charge it through the hub.
Make an input hub.
I also wish that Pecron put a wheels or a suitcase handle or something on this to make this a little bit easier to get around. We said it is better than trying to get, one big unit around, which is true, but at the end of the day, it is still decently heavy power station. Like, it would be cool if it was easier to move it around. You can get a trolley that they sell for like 150 bucks. It's not the prettiest setup, but it works. So at the end of the day, look, we're going to continue to recommend that you buy individual cool power stations with good functionality and features. And there's a lot of people that maybe don't want 2 power stations and cords and all the mess. But if you're just simply looking for the best way to spend your money this year on portable power that gets you the most output, the most battery capacity, the most features for the least amount of money, the bundle is it, dude. When we sat down, there just wasn't a better solution for less. Good job on this one. We recommend it to you guys. There's links in the description down below. Otherwise, make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not already, and we will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.